I'm coming! Shut your mouth!
It doesn't make a lot of sense. It'd be somewhat idiotic to do this.
What is life like on the independent scene? It's actually kind of brutal.
Well, wrestling has consumed my entire life.
There's absolutely no feeling in the world like walking out that curtain and feeling that rush.
My real name is actually Mark Adam Booker. I go by Adam Booker for my character name. I'm 20 years old, and I'm a face in the EWA.
My name is Jeremy Barron. My work name is Dr. Heresy, and I'm 25 years old. My character actually came about because when I first started, the guy I was managing was doing a kind of a crazy psycho gimmick, so we had to have a doctor with him at all times. And it's kind of just evolved from there, where there's really not too much medically involved in my character.
Real name is Matt Gerard. My gimmick name, my wrestling name, is Mr. Muscles, Frankie Amadillo. He's always a heel. 22 years old now. I've been wrestling for almost 3 years.
My real name is Steve Rand. My character is Stefan Q. Ramsey. It's kind of an aristocratic gimmick. I've recently come into money in the stock market. I'm now buddies, partners with Alexander Worthington III, who his character is. He's also one of my business partners. We own the EWA together. You know, we're the ultimate bad guys. Nobody likes to see us dominate, but he's the acting commissioner right now, and you know, we're kind of running roughshod through the EWA.
Real name is Scott King. My character's name is Alexander Worthington III. My character is a spoiled rich kid, kind of a grown-up version of a spoiled rich kid. I've been in wrestling for, it'll be 13 years in October. This September coming will be 2 years since I bought the EWA.
First memory of wrestling was right after WrestleMania 2, so that was '86. I remember I lived in a rural area in Massachusetts. We didn't have cable or anything like that, so we couldn't get too much on TV. So my only access was Saturday's Main Event back in the day, and then some of the syndicated programs. And I always get the WWF magazines, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. That was kind of my window to the world before the internet was around. My only way to really kind of find out what was going on. And I was just a huge fan from there on.
Been involved in wrestling for getting close to 3 years now. Everything about it, you know, ever since I was a kid, I watched it, and just, you know, the show, the athleticism, everything, the whole performing aspect of it.
Disorder! Disorder! Disorder!
The way I got involved in wrestling, which was a pretty unique way, I think that I definitely don't advocate for anyone else to do, was that a friend of mine was interested in getting involved, and a mutual friend of both of ours ended up working with a wrestler who was involved with a small federation in Rhode Island. And just through conversing with him, he got my friend involved, and I ended up managing him as a result, and then ended up getting involved myself directly a year later in ring.
At the time, like, I still didn't know if I was going to go into train for wrestling, but I was working like for a construction company at the time, and I wanted to go to school for that, so I was going to go start taking classes at a technical college, and I actually started a semester. Didn't quite finish that semester, actually. That's when I basically started my wrestling training.
I got started when I graduated in '99. I graduated June 4th and moved to Illinois to start training on June 6th, 2 days later. The whole storytelling aspect of it is all always based around good and evil, you know, the face, you know, being on top and showing that, you know, usually one-on-one that he's the better man, but then the heel, through shortcuts and cheating of sorts, will take it over. You want to work to the face, getting some comebacks to bring the crowd up a little bit. You know, and then have the heel cut him down again to bring the crowd back down a little, and well-worked finish, because that's really the most important thing in the match is the final climax with the face finally getting the better of the heel.
Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow.
New champion, baby. You're not going to go anywhere from me.
I'll be there.
It's involved in planning a match for me. Because I've been around for about 5 years. I've had experience with pretty much every way of doing it. I've had a match where I've just gone in the ring and not even met the person I'm wrestling until we're in the ring. You know, you lock up with a guy, you say, hey, how's it going? You know, my name is this, well, let's do this. I'm most comfortable with getting everything squared away, leaving the middle open for anything you can call on the fly in the ring, but I mean, you're talking about a good wrestling match, you have to have good timing, good psychology, you have to know what the other person's doing at the right time. And the easiest way to get that squared away, I think, is to get everything worked out ahead of time.
Some guys, especially when they first start, will sit there and write out a whole match from, you know, I punch you once, I punch you twice, I punch you a third time, then I push you off the ropes. Some guys will show up and, you know, call a start, the very start of it, 1 or 2 comebacks, and a finish, and then go out there and fill in the rest. And some will just call a finish and fill in the rest. Well, that's more and more rare nowadays.
The difference between indie wrestling and you know, WWF, you know, the old WCW, what you see on TV, is more or less that, you know, you're talking about a huge conglomerate that can throw thousands and thousands of dollars, millions of dollars at to come out with a great production. Right now, we're not making a ton of money off this. We don't intend to get rich off this in the near future. Hopefully someday it will be something that leads to something very lucrative. But that's not really why we get into it. It's more for the opportunity to display what we've seen over the years. It's been indie wrestling is not always, it's not always for the good of the wrestling. It's more for the good of the promoter. And we kind of take an opposite look of that and said, what kind of a production can we make that can be a real, you know, the gem of independent wrestling? That's what we're looking to do. And if we make a lot of money at this along the way, that'd be great. For now, you know, we're breaking even, making a little bit here and there.
From a financial perspective, it's rather difficult because you have advertising. Even the wrestlers' paydays, which on the independents are not incredibly high.
I work at Home Vision Video in South Portland. Senior Customer Service Associate.
My job right now is I work at Shaw's Supermarket. I work at, like I said, overnights, 10 to 6, stocking shelves.
My job, I'm the program staff supervisor for a group home for a vending agency for the Department of Mental Retardation in Massachusetts. I oversee 6 staff, and I manage a group home with 4 people.
I don't know, I make roughly like $600 a week.
The biggest thing is flexibility. It's so important. So you can do, you know, shows when you're asked for them, even if it's with no advance notice. That's the biggest thing about this job that keeps me there. I'm not exactly raking in the cash. Let's say bi-weekly pay, I get around like $350 on average. Not even quite 40 hours a week, because usually I end up having to take off too many days.
I do well for an independent wrestler, which is good because I have to finance most of my trips out and about. I pretty much for the last 4 years have made between $40,000 and $50,000 a year.
I've gotten in my car, driven to New Jersey, taken a day out of whatever job I had, obviously, left my family, drive for 5 hours, get there, get all dressed up, go out in the ring, get 15 minutes, promoter give you a $20 bill, you get back in your car, drive another 5 hours home, get home at 6 o'clock in the morning, drive all through the night, because you don't want to miss maybe 2 days worth of work, or you don't want your wife mad that now instead of being gone 1 day, you're gone 2 days, you know, you miss your kids, all these things, and you get home, and you've lost just $67 in gas, and all the food you've eaten, and all the tolls you paid, and the wear and tear on your car, and you have to look somebody in the face and they'll ask you, what, are you crazy? What? Danger! Danger! Get on the floor! The feeling right here! Sing it!
Been so long.
Sing it!
He's been on.
Get on the floor! The feeling right
As far
here!
as permanent effects that wrestling's had on my body, I got a slight problem with my left knee. It just kind of pops every now and again. Not really diagnosed, but a slight pain in my shoulder. I just got an MRI actually last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. It showed I potentially have 2 herniated discs in my lower back. Luckily it's healed up pretty well though. It's more just like a nagging pain. And then there's, you know, after every show you feel it, you know, for a few days, depending on how hard the show was, how, you know, big a bumps you took. You always feel it. Unless you don't work too often, it's never going to go away.
Been so long. He's been on.
Come on! Get on the floor! The feeling right here! Sing it!
I've been decently lucky for the amount of time I've been involved. I had cracked ribs, broken pinky. I've got 2 good bone chips actually. You can probably see right there. That can be able to pick up. Can you see that? Yeah. That left one is pretty messed up. It's going to have the bone chips removed. I had to actually retire for 3 months at one time.
Like I said, for injuries, like even at the last show, I just got hit with a chair shot in my match, I noticed it was bleeding right away, pretty much. I didn't realize how bad the cut was, but I had to, after the match, I had to go to the hospital and get 6 staples in right here, which you guys saw. I was definitely really happy with the match.
She was had me messed up in the head, I mean. Bought the chick diamonds and pearls, I mean. Should have seen the ice shining on the wrist. Now money ain't a problem.
You're trying to, you know, have your wrestling match and make some money, but then you have to go to the hospital and, you know, $400, $500. You know, it's a pain in the ass. But luckily, I do have insurance, and I want to say one of the few people have insurance, but I mean, there are enough people in wrestling that do not have insurance.
I probably should have paid a few large bills on different occasions, but Because of the whole not having health insurance, I didn't go to the hospital.
The heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road.
31 years old. I have an awful knee. My back's screwed up. I've had 8 concussions. My body can't, but I can't get it out of myself to not go there anymore. It is like the hardest thing in the world to stop doing. Not for everybody. There are plenty of guys that come in, and a year later they're gone. But they didn't love it. They didn't get it. They didn't love it. They didn't have it in them.
What I enjoy about being an indie wrestler, I mean, well, of course all I know is being an indie wrestler. It's so much fun, really. It's because a lot of the guys in the locker room have become my friends, and
Wrestling's affected my life, I think, probably about as much as any independent wrestler. I've actually lost 2 serious relationships as a result of this. If it wasn't for wrestling, I'd probably be married now. I'd probably have a different job. I'd probably be working for my master's degree, but I'm much happier in this life. They say once it's in your blood, then you're sucked in.
how's wrestling affected my life? Like I said, well, when I was in high school, I hadn't really planned too much, to be this involved in wrestling. My life, was really around my friends with wrestling, and training for wrestling, and working out for wrestling. Really, consumes most of your life.
Yeah, I would definitely be doing something different if it wasn't for wrestling. I mean, I wouldn't be content with what I'm making right now if I wasn't making it for a reason. Wrestling is consumed my entire life, basically. I only have cable, so I can watch Raw, SmackDown, the WF shows, If I'm not watching those, I'm probably watching an indie tape. If I'm not doing that, I'm probably at the gym working out, or at work making money to support myself and doing wrestling. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm wrestling myself. So it's pretty much everything. Every, time, minute, day I have somehow gonna go into wrestling. It's a lot more than just affect my life. It has become my life.
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I hope I'm still wrestling. I mean, you never know. I mean, like I said, I've had a few injuries. I mean, the neck one, a little, serious. My knee went a little serious. As long as I can keep healthy, I'll still be wrestling, I think. In 10 years, probably still be here in Portland, wrestling for EWA, which I'm happy with. 25,
already halfway to 30, and when I hit 30, that's kind of like the magical number for an indie wrestler, That's the time when you have to face up and try to live real life. Most people that I know that are close to that have set that as their goal or surpassed that, really. That was the time when they decided to settle down, stop focusing so much on their wrestling life and start focusing more on, I guess what you call for everyone else, real life. I hope to definitely have my own promotion, and hopefully I've found enough peace with my other real life that I'm content in doing pretty much just that. I won't be able to do all the traveling. I won't be able to live my life the way that I do now. I know that.
Oh, to become national, obviously. Whether that's realistic or not, I don't know. But if that, you could say that's my ultimate goal, of course. Ended up building up large enough that we can, you know, go from the Stevens Avenue Armory to the
Portland Expo.
Portland Expo. Obviously, we're never going to be as big as Vince McMahon, although you never say never.
In 10 years, hopefully, I'll see myself at WrestleMania. Hopefully. Or realistically, hopefully, somewhere on the card of a WWF show.